Hello, good evening and welcome to NDTV. I am Ankit Tyagi. Top focus at 8 p.m. on Sunday evening. The conflict which is only escalating in the Middle East after the devastating attack, an unprecedented one in Israel by the Hamas terrorists. Now there is massive retaliation by the Israeli Defense Forces. They have the entire region right now sitting on a tinderbox, affecting millions of lives in the region and sharp divisions. In fact, now there is a possibility, a real possibility, because of so many people, those who have been taken hostages from the Israeli soil by the Hamas militants, that there could be a prolonged war as far as the situation on the ground is concerned. There is tragic loss of human life. More than 900 people have died so far, 600 in Israel, according to many media organizations, and about 300 already in Gaza Strip. Now, several Israeli soldiers and civilians have been taken hostage by Hamas militants. Israel has launched a massive counter-offensive. They have named it Operation Iron Sword. Their extensive use of air power at this moment against targets at the Gaza Strip. In the latest, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has asked Gaza residents to leave immediately, promising he will bring down the entire might of the Israel army and reduce Gaza to rubble. Listen in.
את כל המקומות שהחמאס נערך בהם, של עיר הרשע הזאת, כל המקומות שהחמאס מסתתר בהם, פועל מתוכם, נהפוך אותם לאיי חורבות. אני אומר לתושבי עזה, צאו משם עכשיו, כי אנחנו נפעל בכל מקום ובכל העוצמה.
המעשה הנפשע של חמאס הוא פשע מלחמה. נשים וילדים ביד האויב, זה בניגוד לדין הבינלאומי, זה בניגוד לאסלאם, ומי שלקח בכך חלק, נבוא איתו חשבון. המלחמה קשה, יש עוד ימים קשים לפנינו, צה"ל חזק, הוא יפעיל את כל הכוח והעוצמה שלו.
Let me very quickly bring you up to speed with the top developments which are coming in as far as this conflict is concerned. Over 900 people have died in the conflict so far in Israel and Palestine. 600 Israelis have been killed in the Hamas strikes that took place, both on the ground invasion and, of course, the rocket strikes that took place yesterday in Israel. Now, over 300 Palestinians have also been killed in the Israeli retaliation. Israel has said that 100 Israeli civilian soldiers have been kidnapped by Hamas militants. Hezbollah, meanwhile, has opened another front, or at least there is a likelihood of a full-scale opening of another front in Lebanon, where Hezbollah mortar strikes from Lebanon into northern Israel. Now, Israel has responded to Hezbollah's attacks with artillery strikes. Soldiers continue to battle Hamas fighters in south of Israel. We also know that the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, has said no respite till Hamas hideouts are turned into rubble. The Prime Minister has also said he has asked the people of Gaza to get out of this area, which is one of the most densely populated land strip across the globe. Now, meanwhile, Air India, the Indian Airlines, has so far the flights to Tel Aviv, to and fro Tel Aviv, have been suspended till October 14 because of the situation as far as Israel is concerned. Now, let me very quickly at this moment go across to Lev Aran. He's a journalist who is joining us at this moment from Tel Aviv. Lev, thank you so much for speaking to us here on NDTV. I first want to understand from you, till yesterday night, there were continuous sirens because of the rocket strikes in Israel. Many citizens still having to take shelter, in bunkers. What is the situation at this moment within the boundaries of Israel?
Okay, I apologize. I can answer only this question and then I need to run.
Sure.
I think situation today is different. Yesterday we were shocked and humiliated. We had no strategy. Our intelligence has failed. Now we are mainly concerned with the question, do we have a war only against Hamas or also a war with Hezbollah, which is a proxy of Iran? And once we understand this, I think our strategy will be much clearer. I think we are out of the shock situation, but we are in deep grief because yesterday we did not understand that there is like about more than 600 dead Israelis in this front.
Lev, I know you have to run because you are engaged, but may I just very quickly just engage you for just 30 more seconds and just expand on the point that you made in the beginning, because Israel is known for its counterintelligence, the kind of mechanisms that you have. Is there already thought process which has started about what went wrong and how could Israeli intelligence agencies miss out on such a big mobilization by Hamas?
It was a big failure. The only reason that we don't delve into this failure right now is because we need unity. And once we delve into the failure, we will have to punish those who made a mistake. So right now we are not there. We are only into being united against Hamas.
Absolutely. That's very, very important. Right now, the time is to strike back. Thank you so much, Lev, for joining us and giving us your perspective and time on this. But to understand the ground situation better, because we've been hearing about hundreds of hostages who have been taken to Gaza by the Hamas fighters, those who had infiltrated in Israel. And how is the common citizens, taking as far as the current situation is? Let me go across. And we are joined by, at this moment, Mrs. Maya Nevon. She's joining us. She's mother of 2 children. They're living in Tel Aviv. Ma'am, I want to understand from you at this moment, what is the situation till yesterday? There were continuous air raid sirens which were going across Israel, including Tel Aviv. How is it, and where are you people at this moment taking shelter?
First of all, let me to correct you. You said that 300 Palestinians were dead. In the Palestinian side, it was 300 terrorists who came to attack children's, women's, elderly. You saw a picture a minute ago of an elderly lady. Her name is Yafa Adar. She's 85 years old. She has nothing to do with this war. They were just kidnapping her from her house. They were entering in people's private house, took kids from 6 months old to 180 and 70 years old. This is the war of an army, organized terrorist army against civilian people. So to say the 300 people from Gaza died, it will not be correct, and I'm sorry for saying that. We are terrified in the moment. We are sitting on shelters. We don't know where the next attack is going to happen. And unfortunately, we understand that there is a huge chaos outside. We are afraid to go out the streets. We understand that there is a lot of terrorists are still inside, penetrated the state of Israel. When the border felt yesterday, the army could not react the way we were supposed to react. And that's why we are people, the civilian, the kids are frightened in their homes. We have no schools in the next few days, and we are sending our force and our prayers to our soldiers that are protecting our homes from those terrorists in Gaza.
Mrs. Nevon, at this moment, like you said, it's difficult for people to understand what people would be going through in Israel, having to live in bomb shelters, in bunkers. Are there still active fighting which is going on within the border of Israel?
So from my understanding, and I'm a civilian, I'm not some official authority, but Gaza Strip, there is a Kfar Aza, which is still under attack, and they're still fighting there with the terrorists. Just to give you an idea, a general idea what's happened yesterday, when the rocket started at 6:30 in the morning, families, mothers, father, and kids were sitting in the shelters. Into those shelters, the terrorists came in, penetrated their houses, and killed the people in their houses. Some people were killed in their houses. Some people who didn't left the shelter were burned in their houses. And unfortunately, some citizens, we don't know the exact number in the moment. We understand the estimation is around 100, were kidnapped into Gaza. So when you see the videos of a 6-year-old child, Israeli, who were kidnapped by Hamas and treated as a toy and brought as a present to the kids of Hamas, you don't understand the horror of the people in their eyes. You don't understand how you can be human in that kind of situation. As a mother, we don't understand how you can treat a child like that. That's the kind of atmosphere that we're having right now. Golda Meir said it once, that we will have peace with Gaza ones that will love their kids more than they hate us. We love our kids. We want to protect them. We want to save them. The Israeli Defense Force, called like that, the IDF, because we are protecting our people. We're not looking to attack anyone. We want to keep our borders safe. We want to protect our country and our nation. And this is their time for President Moody, to Prime Minister Moody, to support Israel and the UN to come and help us to solve the hostage situation in the moment, because there are still live kids and women out there. Please help them.
Okay. Prime Minister Modi has already, in fact, announced his support, unwavering support as far as Israel is concerned. Ma'am, in the end, before I let you go, as a mother right now who is, and we are seeing some horrific videos, there is no justification with the kind of violence that has been unleashed. As a mother, and there are so many mothers right now, they have no idea where their children are. So many people have been kidnapped. What goes through people's mind at this moment?
I think that everybody are trying to be optimistic, that in the end of the day, every mother wants to bring her husband, her kids, family, grandmothers back in life to Israel. We are trying to be optimistic, but we know that we are dealing with people, that some of them are not human. And we saw the picture. We saw how they were treating to the bodies that were already dead. We just hope and pray that they will find a sense of humanity inside of them to bring back those women and children alive to Israel.
Right. Thank you so much, Ms. Mayan, for speaking to us. We are hoping that there is the bloodshed, at least on the streets of Israel and in the region, does come to an end. But thank you at this moment. For it was important to understand what citizens in Israel are going through at this moment. I want to very quickly take an update which is coming in from the Israeli Defense Forces about the operations that they are engaged in at this moment. Just listen in to what they are saying.
Hello everyone. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Richard Hecht. This is the first time I'm doing a live on Twitter. I'm the international spokesperson for the IDF, and my social media team said that I've been doing a lot of things on our traditional platforms, BBC, CNN, but I want to reach out to our most important crowd, our followers on all social networks, and take some time out of the day to talk casually and in a calm way what's going on. A very, very hard 24 hours. Unprecedented event. We were attacked with a combined offensive by Hamas yesterday, by surprise. Not only by the traditional rounds that we've had for years with Hamas. And again, we've been talking about Hamas for years, who they really are. They want the annihilation of our state. And I think everybody got a taste of who they are yesterday. They attacked us in the ground, in the air, and also through the sea. And they didn't go for military targets. They went for civilians. They went for grandmothers, children, babies. This event is still unfolding. The numbers are unprecedented.
Unprecedented is actually the word with what has happened in Israel as far as this conflict is concerned. To try and understand, you heard and saw what Israeli citizens are going through, what journalists are talking about in Israel. Let me take you to the other side now. We are now being joined by Tariq Hajjaj. He is a correspondent who is based in Gaza. Tariq, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. I first want to start by asking you, what is the situation on the Gaza Strip right now? There has been continuous retaliatory air bombings that have taken place in the city. What is the situation at this moment?
Well, the situation is critically dangerous. Saturday overnight was rough for Palestinians in Gaza. The Israeli bombardment never stops. Massive airstrike and shelling target resident towers, homelands, police headquarters, checkpoints, and civil institutions. 5 resident towers, which are homes for thousands of people, have been completely destroyed since Saturday afternoon, and hundreds of homes were bombed with people still inside. Several families across the Gaza Strip were wiped out by the Israeli bombing in Deir al-Balah, Khan Yunis, and Rafah. In addition, Israel announced it would cut off power supplies to the Gaza Strip, so now people will only receive 2 to 4 hours of power daily. The bombings have also damaged other infrastructure and some areas in Gaza, and some areas in Gaza have lost internet connection in addition to power. The Gaza Health Ministry reported 370 were killed by the Israeli fire and over 2,200 injuries. Dozens of people are still missing without any details about them. People in Gaza knew the incoming Israeli response would be overwhelming. In Ashajaya neighborhood where I live, an area home to over 300,000 people in the eastern Gaza, people began packing their belongings and leaving their homes to the central of the Gaza city. Some people went to their relatives' home, but most headed to the UNRWA schools in Gaza.
Okay.
UNRWA said that 28 schools in Gaza are prepared to host people who evacuated their homes across the Gaza Strip, and reported that 20,000 people had already evacuated to the school since Saturday.
Tariq, may I ask you this? Like you said, that there was an expectation that the Israeli retaliation is going to be extremely, extremely hard. What would you like to say to those who are saying that, after the massacre which has happened within the confines of Israel on Israeli soil, Israel has the right to retaliate, and Israeli Prime Minister is saying that he is going after Hamas targets?
Let's agree at the beginning of this that the Palestinian reaction, or the Palestinian battle this time, is a reaction to the Israeli violence to the Palestinians in the West Bank and our holy sites, including Al-Aqsa Mosque. This war only for this reason. So when Israel just do their extremely violence against Palestinians, there must be a reaction from Palestinians. And this time, all Palestinians in all their existence places are joining this battle to defend their holy places and defend their people. Israel is always destroying Gaza and launching its war against civilians in Gaza,
right,
destroying homes with civilians inside, killing people, innocent people, children, women.
But Tariq, while I agree that civilians have lost their lives, precious lives, throughout many years, and Palestinians have lost their lives, they have been living in deplorable conditions. But does that mean the reaction should be killing children and elderly on the other side?
The Palestinians have to fight to their rights in case, especially in a time that all the international world or the international community neglecting Palestinians their right. So years ago, Palestinians asking the complete world, just give us our right, give us our statehood, and no one answers. I'm asking you, is there any way for Palestinians to take their rights from the Israeli occupation other than that?
I don't understand whether killing civilians does also, in fact, include in that kind of resistance. But Tariq, thank you so much for joining us. It's very vital to understand what is going on as far as the Gaza Strip is concerned and the other side of the argument when it comes to Israel. Thank you for joining me at this moment. But everybody has been speaking about how Iran basically is behind this entire offensive which has been launched by Hamas. To understand what role are the Iranians playing and what is the future of this conflict, and how much will Iran support as far as the entire resistance, the fight as far as the Hamas is concerned. I'm being joined by Dr. Vows Izadi. He's Associate Professor, Faculty of World Studies, University of Tehran in Iran. Thank you, sir, for joining us at this moment. I want to understand from you, is there now an expectation of massive escalation, not only the retaliation of Israel in Gaza Strip, but also in Lebanon and possibly in some way in Iran as well?
Iran is proud of supporting the Palestinian cause. Iran has been supporting Palestinian cause since the victory of the Islamic Revolution in 1979. Supporting Palestinians is one of the principles of Iran's foreign policy. And the support is not just rhetoric. Support is with military aid, with missiles, with bullets. The Palestinians have been negotiating with the occupiers of Palestine for many decades without any results. You cannot create a cage in the West Bank and put more than 2 million people in Gaza and West Bank and expect not to see resistance. Under international law, the people who are occupied have the right to resist militarily. And this is what Palestinians are doing, and Iran is proud of supporting Palestinians with military aid.
Iran as using the Hamas as their puppet in this fight against Israel, and also because there have been, renewed treaties and closeness of Israel with the Middle Eastern countries, including Saudi Arabia. Is that the reason, a strategic reason for this?
Hamas is an ally of Iran. We have this axis of resistance. Puppet is not the proper term for having a group of people who are resisting occupation. That's not very polite. It's not a polite term. I suggest you use language that is neutral. If you call Hamas a puppet of Iran, you can call Israel a puppet of the United States, and you can say things about India and puppets that may be around that country.
Right. The whole, my question was, because that's the context that at least United States and all other countries are putting it. But thank you so much for putting your views on this in context with as far as Iran is concerned. Appreciate you joining us. With that, we're slipping into a very short break. Updates continue on the other side. All right. There is some confusion. People asking about the well-being of Indians, those who are in Israel. We spoke to the Israeli ambassador to try and understand the situation for the Indians there.
They are foreign nationals, not Indians. Thanks God, so far we don't have any reports of Indian nationals. Foreign nationals who were victims of the terror organization of Hamas and its atrocities. We know of both people who have died, who have been kidnapped, who are foreign nationals, who have been wounded. So there are quite a few. And we are working now, like we are working on Israelis, all victims, to try identify, report, and coordinate with the relevant diplomatic missions in Israel. I don't know of any stranded Indians in Israel because Israel is not closed. Israel is open in general. The airport is open. Some companies decided to stop flying, but there are companies who are continuing to fly. So any person who wants to leave Israel should go to the airport, buy a ticket, and fly out of Israel.
Meanwhile, Chief Minister Sangma, in fact, Conrad Sangma has said that 27 Indians have safely crossed to Egypt. Mr. Sangma, in a tweet, had said that 27 citizens from Meghalaya who were stuck in the war conflict zone of Israel and Palestine have now safely crossed the Egyptian border. All right, that's all the time that we have in this edition. News and updates continue on NDTV. Thank you so much.